Hello all and welcome to Astro Wheel of Fortune. My name is Vlada and I read tarot. For this reading, I wanted to do something a little bit upbeat. I wanted to do a reading that hypes you up and makes you feel good about yourself because I'm in a pretty good mood today and I just wanted to kind of get that energy across. I wanted people to feel good, so we're going to try and focus on a very positive type of reading today. For this reading, I have 5 piles as always, so you can pause the video if you want to meditate on them for longer. We've got pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4, and pile 5. We're going to see whatever might come out for us. Whether it's compliments from the universe, whether it's just something you're doing really great in, we're going to try and see what that is. So let's get started with pile number 1. I'm going to be live shuffling the tarot. I'm kind of getting into that kind of flow where I like pre-shuffling the oracle cards, but I prefer shuffling the tarot on camera. I might someday I might decide to do it the other way. This is just the way I'm doing it right now. Stop asking me questions. Mystic Companion. We've also got Coyote Spirit. And we've also got Grand Trine Blessings. Oh, very nice. I feel like you're super spiritual, first of all. We've also got the Sand, and we've also got the Oyster. I think you have natural vibe of being abundant. And that's how I want to hype you up right now. Well, I mean, I'm going to get to it more and more and more. But I feel like there's something, you're like a grand master manifester or something like that. Like there's almost a natural manifestation energy that I'm picking up to here. I am also hearing the world is your oyster. So you treat the world as full of possibilities, full of opportunities. You see an opportunity in everything. You see possibility in everything. I just feel like you're really connected, even if you're not a super spiritual person. Like if you're watching tarot readings, you probably are a little bit spiritual at least. But even if you're not a super spiritual person, you definitely come off as someone who's really in contact with spirituality, or at least you're really in contact with your higher self. There's a lot of optimism here that I'm getting. You can take things and build them into like seemingly impossible things. I keep thinking of sandcastles looking at this sand card. It's making me think of, sand is just sand, and you might look at the sand and go, I couldn't possibly ever make anything out of it. But then I always think about I'm being pulled towards the idea of sand sculptors and people that create whole sculptures out of sand and castles out of sand and create these amazing structures out of sand. I'm really getting a strong energy that you kind of take materials that are available to you in life. I don't necessarily mean this as like you're an artist. Maybe you are quite literally an artist and maybe you even work with unusual materials, but for a lot of you, you just take whatever you're given and you turn it into gold. Like, don't ever underestimate your ability to turn things into gold. I feel like whatever you touch and whatever you put your intention towards, whatever you put energy and attention into, you always tend to turn it into gold. You always tend to turn it into something incredible. And if you haven't seen that in yourself yet, if you haven't really noticed that in yourself yet, I really want you to know that is definitely potential. You have like a golden touch. You're able to turn opportunities, seemingly maybe like even average opportunities, into things that are incredible. Maybe some of you are able to start businesses, with ideas that other people would have never been able to, take off the ground. You're also not scared of being detoured with this trust the divine detours. You're not afraid. Even if, let's say you really wanted to be a writer and you really wanted to be a writer, but at some point in your life, there was an opportunity to, rather than be a writer, to dabble in music or to dabble in art. You are not going to reject that just because you're not going to say, no, I want to be a writer. I'm not going to dabble. Some of you, I don't know if some of you know your human design. I kind of get a manifesting generator vibe from this pile. Maybe you don't shy away from doing 20 different things at the same time, and it's not something that hinders you, it's something that helps you. In fact, I feel like most of you need many outlets and many different, like, I feel like you're the type of person who's likely to have many different streams of income, many different side hustles, many different hobbies, many different interests, and you don't necessarily need all your interests and all your hustles and all your businesses or just even all your hobbies to add up or make sense together. As long as you like doing something, that's all that matters to you. I also see that a lot of people see you as a perfect companion with that companion card, especially with the loyalty part. I feel there's something very loyal about you. You're like a really loyal friend, really loyal partner. You don't stray away from people that you care about. Very loyal friend, especially. There's a real focus on what a good friend you are. You are an incredible friend. And if you haven't been told this in a second, I really want you to listen to this. You are an amazing friend. And I feel like if you have friends that maybe you lost along the way, lost contact with along the way, if you had fallings out with any of your friends, I definitely think there are friends who think about you a lot and think about how much they miss you. But I also think your existing friends really, really, like, they recognize that you're a good friend. If you haven't heard this in a while, I feel like you must hear it because it just really is standing out that you're someone who's there for people. You seem like a really fun person, Pile 1. I honestly would love to be friends with someone like you. Yeah, you are so giving. You're not the type of person who, I don't think, or even if you ever did have tendencies to overthink, I feel like you've healed a lot of those tendencies. Something about you is I just take the opportunity on the fly. You tend to do everything on the fly. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. This is truly like a good thing. You do things on the fly and it works for you. You take the things that come at you as they come. You're not necessarily maybe the best planner. I don't think you tend to plan much. And you also, when you build things, you don't build things in order for them to be absolutely permanent. If you were to build a business, let's say, or if you were to build some sort of side hustle, you don't necessarily get so attached to it that if you ever wanted to go and try a different type of business or a different type of hustle, you wouldn't hesitate to go, okay, my time with this type of business is done. There's something about you that you have healthy attachments. That's what I feel like you have healthy attachments to people. Because I think this is not talked about enough. Like, you know when to let go. So if you feel like a relationship or a connection or, a certain interest, is truly not bringing you joy anymore, you're going to let it go. Not because you're like a cheater or you are not loyal. In fact, I think you are loyal, extremely loyal. But I think you just know you don't beat a dead horse. Basically, you don't beat it into the ground. When you know something is done, when you know that there's an ending that has happened, you're not going to sit there and overthink about, oh, should I just keep it? Should I continue on with it? You just move on. And there's something very admirable about that. You're very intuitive the way you move through life, Pile 1. You move through life in a really intuitive, but really positive, optimistic. It's like your sunshine, but you also have these moon qualities to you. It's funny. Like, the sun and the moon energies are combined very well. It's like you're intuitive, but you're also a go-getter. I feel like a lot of people see you as super, super lucky or as super fortunate. And people might even sometimes assume that your life was really easy, or that you have it easy just in general, that things come to you so naturally. And, you just get things because that's just the person that you are. You're lucky. But in reality, they don't realize that you had to shift your own perception, and you are someone who trains yourself to be optimistic and to look at things as opportunities rather. Like, even I feel like even if you found yourself in a pickle or a problem, you would go, that's an opportunity for me to rise above something. That's an opportunity for me to learn something new and exciting. You're not going to see a problem as a problem. And it's not necessarily because you never saw problems as problems. I just think you retrained yourself. Everything to you is a gift. Everything to you is a surprise. Everything, like a pleasant surprise. I feel like whatever universe brings to you, you're like, thank you, universe. Like, the gratitude is off the charts with pile 1 here. You are grateful. And I like, you would be grateful for a grain of sand. Like, that's literally how what I'm hearing in my head. You would be grateful for a grain of sand. You would be grateful to receive, like, you know, if you found like €1, $1 or whatever on the ground, it's like, wow, I'm so oh my God, can you believe this happened to me? Isn't that so amazing? Like, I feel like there's a level of gratitude to you that you've trained yourself to see everything as a blessing. Yeah, I think maybe some of you actually suffered with very serious overthinking. I think you're really intelligent, and a lot of the time I feel like the intelligence that you possess worked against you. So like, you have a very active mind, pile number 1. Definitely. Some of you could be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but or maybe have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Mercury even, potentially. That's just something that's coming through because we're talking about the mind a lot. But I think you retrained your mind, because I think this pile, you're thinkers and you think about everything over and over and over again. And in fact, maybe in the past you had anxiety and you were an overthinker. But I think this is the pile that realized that if I can overthink on the bad things, I can retrain my brain to overthink on the good things. And I'm almost getting that this pile retrained their thought process and their, like, you know, brain waves or whatever, like their mental patterns that you've created for yourself, where you're always thinking of opportunities, you're always spotting opportunities, and maybe you started practicing gratitude, like writing in a gratitude journal or something like that, where you retrained yourself to see things to be grateful for in every little piece of your existence. You know, if you get a little present from somebody, you're like, that's a blessing. I can't believe that happened to me. You know, that's amazing. What a miracle. You know, if you get a call from somebody you've been really thinking about the whole day, you don't take it for granted and you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited that you called me. Like, it's just the way you've reframed yourself, and now everything to you is a miracle and is an opportunity. I feel like this is a pile that manifests so quick. You are so good at manifesting, and if you don't feel like you are, I think you're in the flow to be there. Maybe you're on your way to get a really big manifestation in. I think you are. I think this pile maybe is working towards a big manifestation, and your spirit guides are saying you're on the right track. Continue with this. Like, you're just so, I think you're inspirational to a lot of people, but I think a lot of people could even envy you, but they don't necessarily envy what you have, because sometimes it's not even that you have that much. They envy how you always, maybe you talk about, I'm so lucky to have this, I'm so lucky to have that, I'm so fortunate to have like these type of people in my life, I'm so fortunate to have this kind of career in my life. And a lot of people, I think, almost envy you for how fortunate you are, but it's almost like you reframed your mind and you reframed yourself to be this fortunate. It's not that it's just a miracle that occurred without any work. Like, you did the work, pile 1. And I really want you to like recognize that in yourself, and recognize for how amazing you are for restructuring. I really think some of you maybe even used to be super pessimistic. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you used to be super pessimistic and really negative about yourself, potentially negative about your own potential. And you reframe that because you were like, no, I'm gonna restructure my whole life. But I just see you like as this, it's almost like you're playing a Sims game or something like that, or, you know, you're creating everything around you. You're creating your own story. I'm really getting magician vibes with this one. Maybe a lot of you have a lot of Gemini in your chart, because Gemini, Mercury is a really strong energy here for me as well. So maybe Mercury is really important in your chart, or has some like serious placements there. Kind of again, like Gemini, Mercury, maybe Mercury's in like your first house or something like that. You're the creator of your own story. And it's kind of like you grabbed the narrative, you took the narrative back. Maybe other people used to write your narrative for you and you allowed it, and you reclaimed your own narrative. And you said, no, I'm lucky, I'm fortunate, opportunities are always flowing to me, I'm so blessed, miracles are always happening to me. And with those miracles, I'm going to help other people. With those miracles, I'm going to help the less fortunate. With those miracles, I'm going to rewrite my story. And you literally could have said to yourself, the world is my oyster. I am not limited. I'm limitless. So I love this energy, pile one. And there's something energetic with you, but it's less physical energy and more like mind, mental energy that expands. I feel like you have a really bright aura. You could have a really bright yellow or purple aura, but I just feel like your aura really extends really far. I don't know why. I get you're really expansive, pile number one. And that is how I hyped you up. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that was nice and you resonated with it. Keep doing what you're doing, pile number one. I'm really, really proud of you. If you have any feedback, as always, feel free to leave it below. It helps me out when you comment on my videos, and I'm going to move on. So we're moving on to pile number two. Let's hype you up, pile two. Let's see what is so great about you. Come on, let's go. We've got Femme Fatale. We've got Antelope Spirit. We've got Sixth House Routine. The Moon, okay. And we've got the Star. This is like... Some of you, I have to say, I feel like some of you with the Sixth House and Routine, you are like, you really look after yourself, whatever that means for you. I don't necessarily mean anything specific. For some of you, maybe you really like looking after your body. For some of you, maybe you really like looking after your hair, your skin. Some of you really like, dressing real nice and you've established some sort of routine that makes you look amazing. I feel like this pile is really good looking. Like, I feel like maybe you need to hear this as well, pile two. I feel like this is the pile that needs to hear, you are fine. You are so fine, pile two. And I always find with pile two, there's always number two that comes out on the cards. It's the fact that we've got the number two here on the antelope is really cool. Also the fact that you've got the Star and the Moon. I feel like you're a little bit mysterious. I think a lot of people find you very intriguing. And I think a lot of people find you really, really, really attractive. Really attractive. And I don't think you sometimes even believe it. I think you can be really self-critical, pile two. And you almost feel like you never look nice enough, or, you kind of, why am I getting like, I know we have the sixth house, but why am I getting like Virgo rising vibes? Because I always feel like Virgo risings are very careful about how, and very put together, obviously depending on other aspects and other things in the first house or other aspects to the ascendant. But I feel like I'm getting really like prim and proper kind of energy. Let me think. You're very, very alluring in a very mysterious way. Some of you could have some cool tattoos or something like that, or the way that you dress is just really, really attractive. Some of you could wear a lot of like tailored stuff that like really is tailored to your body. You got everything, like all your sizes are perfect. Like you wear clothes that fit you just so perfect. And there's something very elegant about you, because the sixth house makes me think of Virgo, and Virgos can be very, very elegant. Virgos are a very elegant sign to me. And like elegant almost by choice. Like there's a deliberate elegance to you. You put effort into it. You also attract a lot of attention, I think, without even meaning to sometimes. You are very intriguing to people. I feel like just in in the everyday world, you stand out in some sort of way with this elegance and being put together and this mystery that I feel with you. Nobody really can put their finger on you quite. Like, people find it very hard to figure you out, and that's what's so interesting about you. Now, again, I feel like some of you don't even feel that mysterious or like alluring, or the femme fatale. I almost don't really feel necessarily that specific energy, but something about it is very elegant. Why do I feel like a lot of people think you're like this? If you're over 18, please. I feel like a lot of people think that you're good in bed. Like, people assume that you're good in bed. That is just something that came through. It's like a lot of people assume, and so they become intrigued, and so they want to know. And you know where I'm going with this. They want to know because they assume and they're intrigued. So a lot of people are attracted to you just because there's like, people do maybe seem to make, like, maybe people make assumptions about you. Some of you could have Neptune in your first house, or maybe even the moon in your first house. I find people with Neptune in their first house, a lot of the time people assume things about them that are not necessarily true. A lot of people project on Neptune in first house as well. But with the sixth house, I feel it's because you dedicate yourself to a certain routine. You dedicate yourself in a way that is every day. Some of you could have like a stellium in the sixth house, or like a very strong sixth house. So a lot of the time I find people with sixth house stelliums, or at least a strong sixth house, not necessarily stelliums, because it also depends what type of stellium is there. But I feel with the sixth house, when people have very strong sixth house, they tend to be deliberate with what they do. Things don't happen by accident with people who have a strong sixth house. Nothing is an accident. Everything is put together. And I feel like that's very attractive to a lot of people. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are actually really into you currently, because I can't help but feel like a lot of people are really into you. You could have some secret admirers for sure with this moon card here. But you're like, the star card makes me think that you're kind of like a center of attention without meaning to be. There's like an understated center of attention energy to you, just by being who you are and having this elegance and having this mystery and having this, being so put together makes you fascinating to people, and you're a center of attention by default almost. Interesting. We've got the Page of Wands in reverse. We've got the Ten of Swords. I feel like some of you also avoid... You think before you speak. That's the thing that I'm getting here. You think before you speak. You don't... can't relate, but anyway. You think before you speak, and so there's something about that. Your words have impact. Your words really have impact because you think before you speak. You never speak out of just impulse. You avoid impulsivity, and so whatever you do say, people really listen to, and people really pay attention to. I think another thing that I'm getting a lot of exes, pine for you, pile 2, good job, or not, like, I don't know, I'm in a weird mood today, by the way, but a lot of exes pine for you, a lot of exes think about what happened between you. There's something about you that, like, you cause people to feel regretful about their negative ways with you. And if you've been betrayed, especially by like romantic partners in the past, potentially for some of you this could also be friendship, but I feel especially romantic, it feels more romantic. If you've been betrayed by romantic partners in the past, they regret it. Like, that's the way that I can put it. The only way that I can put it is like, there's just pure regret, because they actually, once they betray you, they realize, oh shit, I really screwed something good here. Some people, I'm hearing 1 in a million. So a lot of people, yeah, A lot of people feel like you're 1 in a million kind of partner. Some people could think you're 1 in a million kind of intimate partner as well. It does keep coming through that you people do think you are good in bed. If you are over 18, again, just gonna say that there. But people don't really know. I feel like even people that knew you closely, when they walked away from the relationship, a lot of the time felt like they didn't totally know you. You don't let just anybody know you. You don't let just anybody have access to you. And that's super attractive as well, because people realize if they get to be close to you, it's like a VIP type of thing. Like, it's VIP status to be close to you and to truly know you and have that intimate understanding of you. Some of you could be water signs for sure. You could be, especially Scorpio and Cancer are coming through. Especially Scorpio and Cancer. But you could be Pisces as well, but especially Scorpio and Cancer are coming through in terms of water signs. We've also got that Virgo energy, 6th house energy, Mercury energy. I feel a lot of people would love to, I'm almost getting like a lot of people would love to get to know you on an intimate level, because there is a level of you're not easily accessible, and so it's so appealing. The idea of getting to know you is so appealing. The idea of being with you is so appealing, because people realize that it's not that easy to get close to you. You're selective. You have a more closed off energy. And again, I will never say I'd say I'm the opposite of this pile. So just letting you know, but like neither is good or bad. Like, I kind of let people in quite easily. So there is this, from my personal perspective, don't think I'm like shitting all over people that are very open. I just think this is why you're attractive, and this is why I'm hyping you up, because there's something very alluring about the way that you are selective, and the way that you choose carefully, and you're not easily accessible. Your energy is not easily accessible. You're deliberate about what you do. You're deliberate about what you want in life. You're deliberate about even the way you put yourself together. But you're very, very attractive to a lot of people. I wouldn't even be surprised if there's a lot of people crushing on you currently, especially with the 2 of Cups. I feel like a lot of the time as well, when you start dating a person, very quickly this person like realizes that they want to be in a relationship with you. When you start dating people tend to realize they want to become closer and closer to you. You really draw people in. There's something about you that's very engaging, because it's not like you are selective and you are careful with who you let in, but you're not closed off. You're not like a closed book. You're just a book that needs to be read very slowly. You're just a book. You're not a book that is, a 2-3 day read. You're a book that needs to be studied. You're a book that needs, the chapters need to be highlighted. You need to go to the last chapter to understand it again. Like, that's the metaphor that I'm getting for you. You're the type of person who opens up slowly, but it's always interesting and it's always engaging. And even if you do have a level of mystery to you, that mystery is not in this kind of blocked off way. In fact, the more people get to know you, the more they want. You kind of hook people in like a good book. Again, maybe some of you are really clever and you're very well read. Maybe you really love reading. You're very well read. You have a lot of knowledge with the 6th house as well. I tend to think about the 6th house as, with the routine, I tend to think about the 6th house as like habits and knowledge that we pick up by engaging in something every day and consistently. So maybe you have a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge that you polish off your skills very well. You're not really a jack of all trades. You're more of a master. And again, I'm not saying one is good and one is bad. I feel like, there's place in life for both of these things. But that's just what makes you attractive, and that's the way that you needed to be hyped up today. And I feel a lot of you need to hear just how attractive you are, and how many people actually, maybe some of you find it hard to find people that you can trust. And so you worry that maybe you'll never find someone, but I think you will. because with the Two of Cups, if you're in a relationship, like your partner is just mad about you. I really do think so, for whoever picked it. If you're not in a relationship, or even if you are in a relationship, I just feel a lot of people wish that they could be with you. Even if you are in a relationship, I wouldn't be surprised if there are people just crushing on you hard. And I think a lot of ex-partners really regret losing you. They're really, like, when they think about it, they see that they didn't do the right thing by leaving you behind or betraying you. They kind of feel like fools or feel foolish about these things. So I'm going to move on. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment with your feedback. I'd love to hear some feedback about this. If you feel like it really helps me out. I'd really appreciate it. But with that, let's move on. We're going to move on to pile number 3. Let's hype you up. How can I hype you up today? Come on. We've got Hawk Spirit. We've got Nightingale Spirit. 2 bird energies. So maybe you talk a lot. We've got Judge, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. We've got Mars. Okay. We've also got the Sunrise. Okay. And we've got the Apple. The Apple. Well, I'm getting seizing opportunities. I'm also getting, a lot of you could be Aries. I'm getting Aries vibes here. You're a breath of fresh air. That's what I'm hearing in my head. You're a breath of fresh air. Something about you is super, super authentic as well. Maybe you say, some of you could be Sagittarians as well, but I think Aries is a good one here as well, because I feel like you speak your truth no matter what. Like, you are honest, maybe sometimes even to a fault, but you're honest. You're authentic. A lot of people see that. Maybe that's why people feel like you're a breath of fresh air, because there's no pretense with you. What you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. You're very straightforward. There's no pretense. There's no catch with you. Maybe you're someone who fights for justice quite a lot as well. You want things to be fair. You really care. You're not selfish. That's kind of what's coming through. You will fight for yourself because you deserve that. You believe that you deserve to be fought for, and your perspective is kind of like, I need to fight for myself, because if I don't fight for myself, nobody else will. But you also recognize that there are other people that need to be fought for. So, for example, just because you're fighting for yourself does not mean that you're not fighting for other people. People that needed, groups of people that needed. You will have your voice heard no matter what. Like, that is something that's coming through. You're not afraid to speak up on things that you don't agree with. And you believe in balance in all things. But I also feel like there's almost like a combative energy to you. Like, you believe in balance, but you also don't believe that everything is just done through peace and love. That sometimes action is not always pleasant. Action is not always comfortable. It's not always just peace and love. You don't believe in toxic positivity. That is a big thing that I'm getting here. You're probably super against toxic positivity, but it doesn't mean you're negative. It doesn't mean you're negative at all. In fact, I think you are very optimistic, especially if there's Aries in your chart, because I feel like Aries love positivity. Some people could call you crazy, but I don't even think you're crazy. I think you're passionate. Maybe there's a lot of causes that you're passionate about, and some people mistake your passion and mistake you care a lot. You care about people. You care about integrity. You care about authenticity. You care about justice. You care about those things a lot. And who's to say that you're crazy just because you care and you speak up on those things? Why is that crazy to you? I feel like you're almost like, no, it's crazy that other people are not speaking up on it as much. Like, fair play to you, pile 3, because I feel like you really, really care about justice. You really care about things being fair. You really care about things being in balance. Like, if someone was you're kind of like that kid on the playground when one of the kids is getting bullied by the bullies, you step up and call out the bullies, basically. And I think, a lot of people that don't like you are bullies. Like, that's the way that I would put it. I'd say a lot of people that are used to being in power, are used to bullying others. You would not be their cup of tea at all, which is not a bad thing. So maybe you clash heads with a lot of people, but I think that generally you clash heads with people that are bullies because you call bullies out. Some of you could have some problems with authority, or some sort of like, problems is probably, you question authority. You question, why? You always say, like, I keep hearing why. So maybe even as a child, you used to always go, why? But why? You're not going to just take things at face value. You need to understand why first. You're very clever, very, very smart. But you're not like clever and smart in a quiet way. You're clever and smart in a loud way. You're just going to like speak your mind. And a lot of the time, I feel like your intelligence is questioned by people because you're loud. But just because someone's loud does not mean they're not intelligent. And I think that's something that you truly believe in. Just because you have a loud voice and you have the courage to speak on things does not mean that you're not intelligent, not clever. You're not afraid to walk away from things. You're not afraid to start new things with the sunrise as well. You're not afraid, like, you're just not afraid to, Sagittarius. I was feeling Sagittarius for this pile. But we've got a lot of fire energy in general. But I feel Aries and Sagittarius especially are coming through. Potentially some air signs as well. Because birds always make me think of air signs. You maybe have very lofty ideas. I think another thing that I'm hearing, you're ahead of your time. You're ahead of your time. Some ideas that you have or you try to present to people, like, people are not ready to hear. People are not ready to hear what you have to say sometimes. Some of you could have some serious Gemini placements. I'm definitely getting that with the Lovers card and the birds. So we've got Gemini, Aries, Sagittarius is really coming through. Again, don't get bogged down by the signs too much. I'm just trying to help myself and my own head to get a picture together. You're a very passionate pile. You're very passionate people. And I feel like what you need to hear is that it's good that you're passionate, and it's good that you let your voice be heard. It's good that you question things, and it's good that you challenge things that other people would just kind of accept as a given. There's something about you being a ray of hope for a lot of people. So maybe, again, as I said, bullies are not going to like you. I feel like you're the type of person that if you were like in a job situation and there was a boss who's a bully to the other coworkers, or a boss who treats people unfairly, you'd be the first person to stand up and say, why the hell is this happening? And it's almost like you'd be the person to kind of like walk out of a meeting if something inappropriate happened. Like if a boss said something really inappropriate to their coworkers or was bullying their coworkers, you'd be the type to like go, I'm not a part of this, I'm not gonna do this. And so you're giving the other coworkers like this ray of hope, like if they can do it, if Pile 3 can do it, then I can do it too. There's a lot, you're kind of like a big sibling to a lot of people. There's big sibling energy because Pile 3 can do it, that means I can do it. Like, I feel like that's the way a lot of people look at you. You're an inspiring person. And I think it's the courage and it's the bravery that's so inspiring. Like, you're not afraid to be you're not afraid of paving the way. You're not afraid of being the trailblazer. That's the word that I was thinking of. You're not afraid to be the first to try something. You're not afraid to be the first to do something. Why not? I'm hearing why not. I feel like you're always kind of thinking, why not try something new? but you're also a really compassionate person. But I think a lot of the time that's not necessarily seen in you, because I feel like you have quite a rough around the edges vibe, maybe, and not necessarily that intense, but I feel like you have a more kind of louder and bold kind of personality, big personality, that people don't realize that you have a heart of gold, pile 3. You have a heart of gold, and you're actually really caring, and you're so loud because you care loudly. That's the way that I would put pile 3. You are so loud because you care. You're so you voice your opinions and you speak up on things because you care. I feel like even sometimes you might like, I don't know why I'm getting this, but I'm getting like you getting riled up or something like that because maybe something happened to someone close to you. And you might even start shouting and like talking to them and kind of like trying to help them. But you're shouting because you care, not because you're giving out to them or something like that. But I feel like people could take it people don't take you the right way, if that makes sense. I feel like there is a little bit of an advice here, like, sometimes maybe just calm your energy and get yourself in a more kind of relaxed, volume, calm down. But again, I'm not telling you to calm down, because I honestly feel like this loud energy is also serving a purpose here. You're a trailblazer. You're someone who's not afraid to do things first. You're someone who's not afraid to try something new. You don't like the phrase, that phrase is like, oh, this is just the way things have always been done. You don't like that. You're like, no, what do you mean they've always been done this way? We need to adapt. We need to change. You're not necessarily opposed to tradition, but you always want to question tradition. So it's like, that's fine if we have traditions, but shouldn't we always review why we have these traditions? Shouldn't we always review why we do things a certain way? Yes, it's good to have routine, but routine, when it kind of goes for too long without being reviewed or questioned, becomes dull or becomes counterproductive. I think you're aware that you like new things as well. I feel like pile 3. Maybe I said pile 1, so maybe you were attracted to pile 1. Again, forget about it if you weren't. But you believe that it's important to question things, not because you're trying to be an asshole about it, but because if we don't question things, things can slip into something negative very quickly. You're a very straightforward person, though. Like, I think people appreciate your honesty, and people appreciate your authenticity in who you are and what you present to the world. Some of you could have a really nice singing voice as well. That's just something coming through here. Some of you could be really nice, like your singing voice could be really beautiful, or maybe you're a speaker or something like that. Your voice is either really loud, or if you're a singer, I think a lot of people really like your voice. I feel like I'm even talking at a louder volume for you. And also, don't feel bad about being loud. I have a very loud voice most of the time. So I'm not judging you at all, pile 3. But I think this is all that I'm getting for you, pile 3. Continue on. Obviously, maybe if you feel like you could deal with a bit more compassion or a little bit more of softness when you're delivering your message, that's completely up to you and for you to review. But I think you like reviewing things, pal. I feel like you even review yourself. There's a feeling of like, I need to review how I acted this week or this month. How have I grown? Have I grown? You see you're really attracted to new things and change that brings something that's never been tried before. You're not afraid of things that never been tried before. So that's really nice, pal. 3. I really enjoyed doing this reading. If you liked it, do subscribe and comment. I'd love to hear what you thought of the reading and if it resonated, but I'm going to move on. So we're going to move on to pile 4. Pile 4, let's see, how can I hype you up right now? Let's see, what positive things can I tell you right now? We've got Father. We've got Elephant Spirit. That's so funny that we've got the Father and the Elephant Spirit, because I associate elephants with mothers and nurturing. We've also got Mercury, Mind, and we've got Pluto, Transformation. And we've also got the wings. Protector is the first thing that I'm getting. You are like a protector. People feel safe with you. Like, people feel so safe around you. You have a very calming aura. I think another reason why people feel safe with you is because you are a really good communicator. And when you communicate, you know how to choose your words wisely. You communicate in a very effective manner. A lot of people see you as an authority. A lot of people, whether you realize it or not, or whether you see yourself like that, I think a lot of people see you as an authority. A lot of people, kind of follow your opinions on things. I feel like it's very easy for you to influence people, especially with the Pluto card here and the Mercury being here. Like, I feel like you could be a politician, no problem. Like, this, if you ever considered a career in politics, you'd be excellent, because it's almost like people trust you. People see you as an authority. People see you as someone who could protect them, could look after them. You have a really nurturing vibe to you, and the way that you communicate is really effective, and people trust your communication skill. Like, I'm really getting, a lot of people might even think of you as their guardian angel. That's something that's coming through. You guide a lot of people. There's something about you that people trust your guidance. So maybe a lot of people come to you for advice. Like, people really like hearing you give advice. Some of you could actually be, I don't know if you were like a spiritual messenger, or, a medium or a tarot reader. Maybe if you are, especially if you are and you pick this pile, people really resonate with your messages. People really see you as someone who delivers messages very, very well. Someone very connected to spirit, someone very, very, very connected to, and not only connected to spirit and connected to the spiritual world, but the way that you communicate your messages is so effective. And people really admire that. Especially, I have to say, if you're a tarot reader watching this specific pile, you're doing an excellent job with your messages when it comes to tarot readings. I think a lot of people are recognizing that in you. If you're if you have some sort of presence on the internet, or you have some sort of presence in general where a lot of people are watching you, again, a lot of people respect you, respect the shit out of you. You just come off as so powerful, but also nurturing, but also someone who knows a lot about life. Maybe you're a really old soul, pile 4. Not necessarily, but for some of you, maybe that'll resonate. But it's just, there's a natural way to you that is really calls for respect. People find it hard not to respect you. People find it hard not to, even people that don't like you respect you. I feel like that's the energy that you possess. That's the power that you possess. That even people that don't necessarily like you, that don't maybe even have beef with you, or people that, you betrayed, they betrayed you, whatever way it works, they still respect you. It's very hard not to respect you. People can dislike you. People can have zero love for you. People can have zero interest in your life, but they will always, always respect you. And that's like your big superpower. I feel like it's something that you really should utilize, not in a manipulative kind of way, but I feel like you need to hear it, that a lot of people respect you for who you are. Maybe what you've been through as well with the Pluto and transformation. Maybe you've been through a lot. And even though those people, especially, there's a focus on people that might not like you necessarily and see your faults, but they still really respect you for the things that you went through, and really respect you for how you handled difficult situations. That way, I've definitely had people that I didn't necessarily like, but I did respect them. So, and sometimes, and I don't know if that's something that is a good thing to hear, but I feel like for you, it is a good thing, because it's almost like, if you were in a difficult situation, a person that didn't like you but respected you, I feel like they would still help you. A lot of people want to help you get where you want to go. That's another thing that I'm getting with never underestimate how many people want to help you, how many people look up to you, and how many people respect you. Never underestimate how much assistance there is around you, especially when it comes to spiritual protection as well. I think you're super spiritually protected. This is a very spiritual pile, extremely spiritual pile. I'm getting Scorpio, I'm getting Virgo vibes. Virgo, Scorpio. You could have Pluto in your first house. You could be, in a way, you could maybe even be a very divisive person. Pluto in first or 10th house. Maybe Mercury in your first house. You're a really good communicator. Maybe your third house is, maybe your Mercury is aspected very, very well. You're an eloquent speaker. You speak, I'm hearing you speak through, like, it's almost like spiritual energy speaks through you. So some of you could be mediums. Some of you could actually be mediums, and maybe that's what's coming through here. It's like the universe speaks through you. Or tarot readers, there's just something about you that you almost say things that are so profound and so wise. Maybe sometimes you say things and you even turn around to yourself and go, where did that even come from? That felt like it wasn't even me talking. It felt like something else was talking through me. But a lot of people really, really respect you. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got Two of Swords. Okay. Some of you could have a platform, because I really feel like you have a lot of eyes on you, or maybe you're well known in your community. The Chariot. Cancer is also present here. We've got Cancer with the Chariot card. So far, Cancer, Scorpio, Virgo, significant Mercury placements, maybe in Mercury in 10th house, maybe even, because if you have a platform where a lot of people watch you, maybe you communicate maybe you're not necessarily even an amazing communicator like day to day, but when you come to the platform, like let's say you're a tarot reader, or let's say you're some sort of, or even just a communicator on a big platform on social media, when you come to that platform, you communicate exceptionally. A lot of people see you as very powerful. I don't know if you feel very powerful, but I think a lot of people see you that way. I think you do feel powerful. I think you see it within yourself. Yeah, Virgo is strong here with the Hermit. A lot of people see you as someone who's a go-getter and ambitious, but in a very intuitive way, but also that you can take it or leave it. There's something about you that whenever you go for something in your career or even in a relationship, if you want it, you're going to go after it. But if you get a rejection or something like that, you can take it or leave it. If somebody rejects you, you don't act out. You don't throw a fit. You don't, you're not like crying. You're not having a tantrum because you didn't get something that you really wanted. You're going to go and get it. But if there is a rejection, or if something isn't for you, you're not going to sit there and be like, why not me? Why not me? You're just going to move on and go, okay, that was clearly not for me, so I'm going to keep going. It's almost like you're so in tune with the universe. You're so in tune with the universe. I also feel like a lot of you are really good at shadow work. That's something that's coming through. So maybe this pile has done a lot of shadow work. You're very very well acquainted with your shadow side. You know how to integrate your shadow, your ego, you know who you are. Yeah, earth energy is very strong. Earth sign energy in general, but Virgo especially. Virgo or I specifically feel like Mercury placements are really important in your chart. Also Sagittarius energy. But you are patient, and your patience is a virtue. Like, you're very patient, and whatever has to come to you will come to you. And I think that's why people respect you. It's kind of like, yes, you're a go-getter. Yes, you go after and you do the work. You put in the work. And you go after what you feel is right for you. But there's also a sense of balance. There's also a sense of, if it's not for me, I'm going to be okay with that. And I'm just going to move on and go find something else for myself. And I think a lot of people just find your energy so comforting. People feel protected by you. You're like a protector. For some of you who are like parents, if you're a parent, especially with the father and the elephant card, and this is my mother card with the Queen of Pentacles. If you are a parent, I think people think you're an amazing parent. People really respect you for your parenting style. Like maybe you parent, the way you parent your children or your child is really stands out to people as effective. You're so mature, pile 4. That's the way that I would like describe you. Overall, there's a maturity, a spiritual, emotional, mental maturity within you. And it kind of feels like you're respected, you're admired, that people look up to you. I'm almost getting this, you're kind of like a leader of the pack. And even if people don't like you, they agree that you're a good leader. It's even if somebody else wishes that they could be the leader, they cannot help but feel like, yes, they are a good leader at the end of the day. Maybe some of you do a job or something like that, and you're in a workplace, and potentially even people that maybe don't necessarily like you as a person cannot help but say, yeah, I don't really like them, but at the end of the day, they're really good at what they do. I can't deny that. And I don't know why. Maybe you have some people that you're aware of that like they don't like you. Maybe that's why it keeps coming through. Like you're aware of certain people that don't like you, and your spirit guides are really wanting you to know, even the people that don't like you are looking at you and going, yeah, but they're good at what they do. And at the end of the day, they deserve to be where they are, and they deserve success because they worked hard on themselves. Like people can't help but respect you. People can't help but give you credit for where you got to. People can't help but see you as authority. And I feel like it kills some people. Like I feel like it really irritates some people. It's like some people would rather not see you that way, but it's like they can't help it. You can't help but arise this sort of level of respect towards yourself. And honestly, well done. That is, and not that you should care about that stuff. You shouldn't, as long as you have, but it's because you do have that self-respect for yourself. You respect yourself first. I'm also getting like respect is earned, not given. So, the way you see other people, you don't give people like benefit of the doubt or anything like that. You wait till people prove themselves to you. And it's like on an energetic level, people understand that, and people know that, you're not just going to let people off. You're so powerful, pile 4. You're so mature. You're so in touch with your spiritual side. I think definitely if you're like a tarot reader or a spiritual worker, the way you relay messages is I'd say very extremely good. Like your spiritual messages are they get people, like people get them and people understand them very well. You know how to explain difficult spiritual concepts or maybe difficult spiritual messages that come true. You really know how to put them together and package them and give people clarity. I don't know why I keep getting like maybe one of you is literally someone who's a tarot reader that's gonna like pick this pile and you're gonna watch it. And even if it's just one of you, I just really want you to know that you're doing a great job with your spiritual messages. Or even if you're a speaker, even doesn't have to necessarily be spiritual. Like even if you're just a speaker or a teacher, you're so good at relaying information and making people understand. You're someone who makes people think and makes people understand difficult concepts. I really, really like this energy. I feel like I want to say I admire you. I really do. Whatever you're doing it right. So that's the reading that I got for you, pile number 4. Really interesting reading. I really enjoyed it. I hope you liked it as much as I did. And I'm going to move on. Do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. but I'm going to move on. Let's get started with our last pile. Last but not least, we've got pile number 5. So let's have a look at how can I hype you up. The last pile was a little bit more calm, so I'm a little bit more in a calm mood, but we're going to see, because these piles have different levels of energy to me as well. So let's see, what do you have? Pile 5. Goddess. Very nice. Armadillo spirit. 3. Goddess card makes me think of the Empress, and we've got 3 here. So Empress is already coming through. Empress energy. We've also got 5th house creativity, also the house of fertility and children. Empress, creativity, Empress. Why is this such Empress level energy? If the Empress comes out when I shuffle the tarot, I'm gonna be so amazed. We've got the scales and we've got the fire. I'm also thinking phoenix and snake shedding skin, so transformation. I feel a lot of you had a glow up recently. You've had a glow up and you're looking amazing. I'm also hearing, you know that song, I'm feeling myself. It's Beyonce, Nicki Minaj. I'm hearing that song in my head. So maybe you're really feeling yourself lately. You're really feeling your look. You're feeling you feel comfortable in your body. You feel content with who you are. You're honestly just abundant, very, very abundant. I'm also feeling real confidence in who you are. And also just noticing, see, we have the scales. Wow, excuse me. I'm just going to take some water. The scales on the armadillo. Oh, that was an intense cough. Did you clear your throat? Did you clear your throat chakra? Did you finally step into who you truly are? Maybe you've been someone in the past who was really afraid to show the full extent of who you are. To show the full extent of how badass you are. It's like you started expressing yourself more creatively. You started expressing yourself more powerfully. There's a real punch to this. We've also got strong Leo energy, like really strong. I know the Empress is ruled by Venus, which is Taurus and Libra, but a lot of the time I can't help but a lot of time when I pull the Empress, Leo energy does come into my head. So some of you could have strong Leo placements. But there's something very empowering about you right now. You're empowered. You're standing in your kind of like authentic version of yourself. You're really like, there's some like the confidence that you're exuding, even if maybe you don't feel like you're exuding that much confidence, you are. Trust me. Like, people feel your confidence is attractive. Your confidence is beautiful. The Empress energy. I don't know why, but I'm kind of feeling this. I'm almost getting. I don't know why I keep getting it, but I'm almost getting like Lizzo energy. I just feel like she's really she is who she is, and she doesn't apologize for it, and she expresses herself whatever way she wants to, and she's very unique, and she's very and even like the body positivity that she shows, like there's something about that. You don't necessarily have to relate to Lizzo, by the way. Like, I'm not and you don't have to like look like Lizzo or anything like that. This is not about looks. This is about that energy of like authenticity and abundance and beauty, so but there's that because like I think she's really, really hot. So I feel like there's just something really hot about you. There's something really, really hot about you. Like, really hot, really authentic. And you're like, I don't give a shit. You can take it or leave it. I'm hot. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. You can just stare. Thank you. Like, you've transformed. Maybe some of you have like really had a moment where you transformed, and a lot of people are almost, people having to have a double take on you. People that you went to school with or went to college with or whatever, realizing, oh my God, that's them. How they've transformed into this beautiful person. You're full of life. And there's something very simple about this expression. Like you're not doing the most. You're just doing whatever the hell you want to be doing. And that's really nice as well. You're really down to earth. Like at the same time, you almost have this goddess, god energy, like godly like energy, but it's a very down to earth energy at the very same time. We've got the strength card. I mean, I did feel that Leo energy with the 5th house, strength house. The Leo energy is strong here. Maybe you're channeling Leo. Maybe you're channeling your Leo placements if you have any. Yeah, and with the 7 of Wands, you're kind of like, yeah, this is the way that I am. And what? Like, what are you going to do about it? Maybe you used to feel like you had to hide a certain part of yourself and you're just done doing that. And that's really, really attractive. I feel like a lot of people like want to, similarly to another pile, a lot of people probably have feelings for you or are attracted to you. Like I'm getting multiple admirers. Multiple people watching you. Fire energy. That fire energy is strong. Okay. With the judgment card, like the judgment card makes me think you almost stepped into like an alternate reality version of you. Like a version of you that you never thought you would be. You blossomed. I'm kind of getting like you blossomed into something incredible. And it's not incredible because you're otherworldly or something like that. It's incredible because you're truly you and you're truly authentic to yourself. You've worked on a lot of your insecurities. You've worked on a lot of your hang-ups. Maybe some of you literally worked on your insecurities. You worked on things that you didn't like about your body. And not necessarily, I'm not saying you worked on them in terms of like, oh, you went and exercised or something like that. You could have worked by loving that part of yourself, you know, and really like looking at that part of yourself, looking at that part of the body that you used to hate or something like that, and you went, I love that part of me. I love that part of me. It's actually beautiful. I don't I don't know why or at what point I started hating it, but I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna heal that part. It's like you decided for yourself in your head, you know, that kind of thing that I've definitely seen that going around a lot, where people say, you know, being hot is a state of mind. It's not a physical thing, really. If you think about it, if you can decide at any moment that you're super, super hot. So I feel like that's something that you did. You just, at one point you decided, and I don't feel like it was like too long ago. I feel like it was kind of maybe relatively recent, within the last few months. You decided for yourself that, you know, I'm hot. I'm really, really, really hot, and nobody can tell me otherwise because I already decided this for myself. I am the shit. I'm a leader. I'm really powerful. I'm also feeling some of you maybe started practicing some sort of like artistic skill or following a passion of yours that maybe you used to be afraid of following. So for example, you know, if it was like you always wanted to act, but you were afraid that people would make fun of you and say, oh, you think you're going to make it as an actor? You went, yeah, I do actually. I'm going to go and do it. Like you just went after a passion of some sort. This doesn't have to necessarily be just to do with the looks and the body. For some of you, I definitely feel like this could be a passion, and you grabbed that opportunity to go after it. And you just decided, like, let's say it was acting. You decided, I'm an actor. And you start calling yourself an actor. You know, that way sometimes as well. Like I always find, even for myself, calling myself a tarot reader sometimes almost feels unnatural because, you know, you're afraid people are going to say something. But the moment that you decide that you're going to proudly announce to, you know, if you were at a party and someone went, what do you do for a living? I don't know why I said it like that, but and the moment that you decide, I'm going to proudly say I'm an actor, or I'm going to proudly say I'm a singer, that it reminds me of another thing that I saw, and I usually see these things like on Tumblr posts or whatever, or like screenshots of Tumblr posts, or on Twitter or whatever. It was someone saying, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Of course I did. Oh my god. You know what? I'll rewatch this video and I'll be like, I know what I wanted to say. And I completely lost my train of thought. How does that even happen to me sometimes? I completely lose it. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. Normalize saying that you're an actor if you're only acting as a hobby and you're not getting paid for it. Normalize calling yourself a painter even if it's just a hobby. And even my word choice there is actually not right. If you're just a painter by hobbies, like, no, if you're painting through a hobby, if you're painting for fun rather than for a living, if you are a seamstress or you create fashionable gowns for a hobby rather than for money, normalize calling yourself like a designer. Normalize calling yourself an actor even if you're just acting for a hobby and not for money. So I feel like maybe that's something that you are trying to reprogram in your mind, and it's really working. And it's the thing that I'm getting is like, I can't talk right now. I'm doing hot girl shit. And I think that you're doing hot girl shit. You're literally on fire. Pile number 5. And you're looking out for number 1. You're looking out for yourself, and not in a selfish way, not in an egotistical kind of way. You are just in the mode of going, this is who I am, this is what my passions are, this is what I like to do, this is my body, here it is, this is me, and you don't get to tell me what I am, I get to tell you what I am. And again, it can almost sometimes feel, I think to you, sometimes it feels like you've stepped into an alternate reality of yourself. It's almost like you have the way we always talk about alternate realities, it's like you switched places with an alternate reality version of you. And you're feeling yourself. That's what I love. You're feeling yourself. And I think a lot of people are noticing how much you're feeling yourself. A lot of people are noticing how in tune you are with yourself. And that's like so hot and so attractive. And so many people I'm even hearing like people want to know how you got into this flow. People want to know how you became so confident. People want to know how is it that you have this, I just keep hearing, how do you do it? How did you become so successful? How did you become so in tune with yourself? I'm also hearing the grass is always greener on the other side. So maybe you realized for yourself that the grass is not always greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. So you decided to water the grass on your side. Maybe you used to always kind of think like, oh, maybe I should do this kind of career, or maybe I should, pursue these kind of passion projects because other people seem to be doing well in them. I should be this kind of artist. I should be this kind of musician. But once you realized, no, I am who I make myself be, and I am what I am the best version of myself when I step into the authentic flow. That's when you started flourishing. I feel like you've flourished. That's kind of what the word is that's coming to mind. Some of you could have had to like cut off people in order to flourish as well. Maybe you had people that defined you. So you could have had like friends or a partner who used to always define you and kind of box you off and say, oh, you're this type of person. And they always told you what you're like. And you went, wait a second. No, I'm going to decide what I'm like. I'm going to tell you who I am. You either cut them off, or maybe you just decided to step away, create distance so that you could figure out who you are. I really just feel some of you could have some important transits going through your first house. Maybe that's something that is happening with you. Because you're really figuring out who you are as an individual and who you are, what makes you attractive, and not that way of like, oh, what should I do to make myself attractive, but what is it about me that is so authentic and, you know, just vibrates with life that it's so attractive people can't look away. And I feel like people can't look away. Like there's something about you that people want to watch you, people want to see your progress, people want to see you flourishing. You have a lot of admirers, and I feel like for a lot of you, some of them are definitely romantic and some people just like straight up think you're hot. But I feel like for a lot of you also have admirers with that kind of energy of like, how did they do that? How did they become this person? How did they become? There's something very luxurious to you as well, pile number 5. Whether you do live in luxury or you don't, a lot of people find you very abundant and luxurious. Maybe some people think that you probably have, that you've really made it. You've really made it in some sort of regard. Again, if you don't feel like you've made it yet, but you feel like you're on your way, I definitely see the effects of that are already out there. People are already feeling like you've made it. Oh, they definitely made it in their career. You know, if you wanted to be an actor, like a lot of people see you as an actor. If you wanted to be a musician, a lot of people already see you as a musician. I think you are on the way to fulfilling some sort of passion of yours, and you should be really, really proud of yourself. And self-love is really abundant here. And you're just hot. Pile 5, you're hot. So that's what I have for you, pile 5. That's the way that I hyped you up today. If you liked it and if it resonated, do like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know how it resonated, if it did. I'd love to hear your feedback. And as always, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.